Hello guys, would you tell somewhat about your new book? Is it your first book that you...
It is my first book and it's also the first book of Hans. Pieter is the most experienced writer of the three of us, but it's the first book we wrote together with three authors.
How did you find a theme?
Well, we were all of us were interested in the same subject actually, which was a quite unknown story of the beginning of the Second World War, when thousands of Belgian young guys had to leave their home to run away from the Germans. And we all knew this story. I knew it because Karel told me, but Pieter knew it already before us. And we all found it very interesting, and because there was never a book written about it, we decided to do something with this story. And then first we went on a journey to visit the places where they had been in 1940, and then we decided to write this book together.
Was it a happy end or not?
Yes, because most of the people involved returned after 3 months. They could return to their families and they found that the German army wasn't as brutal as they thought as in the beginning. So that was a happy end. But for some of the boys, they returned home ill and with diseases. And during their journey, a few hundreds of them died actually. So it was not for all a happy ending.
What did you learn from this story?
That there are some stories, adventures, hard stories that are forgotten, just because they are not that important for the history of the Second World War, and that some stories maybe are forgotten for a long time, but that there is a reason to remember them and to do one big journey 75 years later, and that's the way how to remember.
For you?
We learned a lot. We learned in the beginning it was just a general thing, and during our research we learned, we read tens, hundreds of personal documents, diaries, memoirs, novels, and every story was new. Was a personal journey, personal story. So we learned a lot. We learned a lot about being young in 1940. To what kind of music did they listen? What motivation they had to serve their country. It was a great exercise in writing history, and for all of us it was a great lesson.
And what did you learn from this story, Hans?
Well, for me, like Karel said, the way to write a story about so many people, you can do it in two ways. I think you can generalize the sort of average story and tell it like this is what happened, and you can be quite anonymous about it and write about the decisions that were made and the places where a lot of them came, and you can give numbers. But we really went down to the individual level, and I think that was really important to see that every individual story is actually very different, and that all history is generalization. It's always like that, even also in our book. But by really not forgetting about the individual stories of these people who actually lived this history, I think you can get closer to sort of representing what it must have been like for them. And so it was a good, like you said, an exercise in how to write the history of a group of people, because that's what it basically is.